Sit. I said sit. Are we turning our cameras on for this? My smile. Hey guys, what's going on? Yeah, I was just live streaming and I heard about Sister Tyson passing away, and she's always been some type of mentor. And I can remember as early as I was 3, 3, 4 years old, my mother was sitting in front of the TV and watch something called Reeks or the about Mrs. Jane Pittman, the first black woman to drink water fountain in some southern town. She played, and she played Tyler Perry, The Have and Have Nots. I mean, it's just relentless, and I'm just crying because she's like a TV mother to me. When my mother was out doing other things, I was watching, and I'm crying because she had a big impact on me. She was probably the third best mentor I ever had. I met her once, and she signed my book that she had wrote along with Tyler Perry. She has a book now 2 days right before she died. And I remember I first got stationed in Washington, D.C., working on the Obama campaign because I was a part of the White House communication. I had a chance to meet this phenomenal lady. And she's about short like my mom or whatever, but, you look down, you see a gentle giant that's been through a lot. And, here we are on the verge of next month, which is Black History Month. She will be the first one that I give a special tribute to, and then many others. But I just did an upload now for the death of her, and I couldn't keep editing anymore because it was like 2 hours. I said no. I said, Lord, I don't think I'm gonna do this 15 minutes with that because she lived a long life and she was a very strong, phenomenal woman. I mean, she didn't allow society change her. She stayed the same. And right now, guys, I'm feeling really sad. So I didn't even put this on mute because I was going to stay up all night and try to get 1,000. But she had a special quote. She said, "What you see is what you get. If you don't like it, you step right along and let me do my thing. Because I'm always be Sister Tyson. And who else would want to destroy such a beautiful thing?" And that hit me. I was like, oh my God, she's something else. But she knows that, with God, when God's hand is on it, nobody can touch God. Is truly amazing. It's just sad. I know she lived a long life, but God, she impacted so many. Oprah Winfrey to, oh my God, Lord, so I get to probably Whitney Houston. I don't know, but I do know this. She impacted me. So I just got on here to tell you guys that I'm, going to be a live stream. I believe something solid. Check out the tribute that I gave to Miss Sister Tyson. I'm sure you will like it. But for Black History Month, I'll release the full video itself. But I just had to stop. So I said, well, Lord, I'm just gonna take a break because you call one of your angels home. That's true. Yeah, angel. I don't know her like that, but I know she impacted me in a lot of ways. So, guys, I just want to say that. So, but I'm about to get over here, smoke a cigarette, drink about that much beer. I'm gonna lay it down because you can see Mr. Beaver is already laying down. So, for you guys, dog lovers, I think what I'm gonna do instead of having it on the TV and having roll mute or whatever, I'm just gonna put it on him because Mr. Beagle knows exactly what to do. So, guys, I'm gonna say 2 words. Good night. And I will see you on the flip side in the morning. I'm just gonna keep this on. Oh Lord, this is so sad. I'm just gonna keep this on live stream for this time, and then you guys can watch my dog. Peace, guys.
to pay for health care.
Of all times that we need to reinstate access to, affordability of, and extensive access to Medicaid is now in the middle of this COVID crisis.
As President Biden continues to use his executive powers, negotiations between the White House and Congress continue for Biden's $1.9 trillion COVID stimulus package.
Got a lot to do, and the first thing we got to do is get this COVID package passed.
President Biden wanting bipartisan support, but many Republicans say the bill is too big.
We have a 50-50 Senate. We have a House that is very narrowly divided at this point. You know, that should really be a mandate for moving to the middle. But that's not what we have going on now with this large proposal.
I support trimming it very narrowly, but it really cannot be delayed. We have a window of days, not weeks.
To quickly pass COVID relief, Democrats may push the bill through the reconciliation process, but Democrats would have to be fully united. It's an option House Speaker Nancy Pelosi says she'll use if bipartisan talks continue to stall.
I hope we don't need it, but if needed, we will have it.
In addition to President Biden's executive actions, he also signed a presidential memorandum reversing the Trump policy of restricting tax money for abortion clinics, both in the U.S. and abroad. From the Washington News Bureau, I'm Blair Miller.
Turning to coronavirus now, the push for the vaccine in our schools. While most teachers are waiting to get vaccinated, it's suddenly not a concern for some educators in Washington state. Brian Sims reports that's thanks to a big donation.
More than a few times today, we saw
Spends 4 nights a week over there, does his laundry over there. Dave likes John Riccardi, calls him Dean. He really considers him a trusted friend, and he looks up to him, almost as a father figure.
I think Dave liked knowing that this guy was from New York. This guy's a weightlifter. This guy's pretty smooth. This guy tries to get
He's a shaker to mover.
But the con man Riccardi hides his criminal past from the Navarros.
John's entire past was a mystery. He would do almost everything in his power to keep it that way.
And Riccardi's obsession with con devolves into something far more sensitive. There's something about her that just said,
Introducing the only national USDA certified organic hard seltzer. New spicy pineapple Michelob Ultra organic seltzer. Don't fall for anything else. As real as it tastes.
Mom! Yeah? I found. Okay, there's bandages in the cabinet. I'm bleeding. Grab 2.
Sheba, what cats want?
Irresistibly smooth chocolate to put the world on pause. Lindor, made to melt you by the Lind Master Chocolatier.
Every time we pre-rinse, we waste up to 20 gallons. Let's skip the rinse. Finish Quantum with active blue technology cleans without pre-rinsing. Switch to Finish and skip the rinse to save water.
When pain wears you down, Icy Hot Dry Spray delivers. Feel it working instantly, providing powerful relief to muscles and joints. Icy Hot.
Want to play with Shaq? Enter to win the basketball fantasy experience at icyhot.com/riseup.
Hondas. $150K.
How are you, son? Who's your friend? This is Eric. Ooh, the big E. Great to meet you. People love my nicknames. It's a whole thing. It's wonderful, sir.
Switch to Progressive and you can save hundreds. You know, like the sign says.
New projects means new project managers. You need to hire. Indeed. You do. The moment you sponsor a job on Indeed, you get a short list of quality candidates from our resume database. Claim your $75 credit when you post your first job at Indeed.com/home.
I was having my tears. I wasn't sleeping. I'd seen BetterHelp ads, and I was like, I should give it a shot. I was paired with a really good counselor. I feel hopeful for the first time in a long time. I have been suffering with migraine for years and years, and nothing has really worked for me until now. With the Nurtec ODT, I have felt such relief. I am able to go about my day as if nothing happened. Nurtec is the only quick-dissolve treatment for migraine attacks that can get many people back to normal activities and last up to 48 hours with just one dose. Don't take it if allergic to Nurtec. The most common side effect was nausea. For more information, go to nurtec.com.
Delicious crust, and your family food critics will rave. Croissant crust is flaky layers of buttery bliss. Pumpkin crust is fresh baked delicious. There's a 5-star pizza for everyone in your family to love. It's not delivery, it's DiGiorno. Discover the deep clean Brazil discs. Remove not only visible stains, but even invisible dirt. For a true deep clean, try Brazil discs. Want a great movie you can watch at home? We would recommend Face the Music. The Best Friends Return to Search the Future. No way! Watch the listen and Face the Music on demand. And this weekend on Music, two of rock's biggest and baddest. A two-night event. Axl Rose, Cheryl Smith. It all starts Saturday.
In the early 1980s, future rock star Dave Navarro and a single mother Connie unwittingly shared their home with career criminal John Riccardi, a serial burglar and con man. Riccardi did business with Navarro with his strength and charisma, but it's only a matter of time before this charming quote is exposed and he transforms into something much more savage. By the time Dave Navarro reaches his early teens, he's already a talented musician. First by learning the piano, then by taking up the guitar. His father Mike buys his first acoustic at a garage sale.
What was different about Dave Navarro and the way he played was his grasp of the music. He could play anything on command. He had an ear that was unlike any other guitar player.
Once Dave hears the guitar mastery of Jimi Hendrix, he's changed as a musician forever.
He says, I have to find out more about that guy. I have to find out more about how he plays the guitar. And I think in some ways he tried to replicate the Hendrix sound, but in other ways he wanted to invent a new sound.
By late 1982, after dating close to 2 years, Connie Navarro and John Riccardi start hitting a rough patch. Riccardi seems to disappear for days at a time.
John Riccardi was sharp enough not to divulge what he was really about. He kept everything under wraps. He would disappear for a couple weeks or so. I'm going back to New York to see my father. He used that excuse. That's a code for him going to go out and do some burglaries. The amounts of money that he obtained through these burglaries was really off the charts. It was in the millions.
The guy was dripping with money, and of course it was because he was stealing it from other people.
Despite John Riccardi's insatiable need for precious items, he believes his most valuable possession is Connie Navarro.
Riccardi was a very possessive man, and Connie felt crowded by his jealousy. He was pathologically jealous. She talked to the mailman and was like, who are you talking to? Why are you talking to him? He was very controlling of every aspect of her life.
Connie Navarro rejects John Riccardi's jealousy and secrecy.
She was a very free spirit, an independent person, and she didn't like being a possession.
As time went along, that frustration turned into anger, which turned into mistrust. And though she appreciated the relationship that Riccardi had with her son, there was just something about him that remained too much of a mystery for her to be comfortable with.
Navarro wants to end her relationship, but Riccardi will not let her go.
Connie tried to break up with
John Dean Riccardi on at least a half dozen occasions, but he is a master manipulator, so he was always able to win her back.
Say things like, I'm going to kill myself. And, oh, I don't want to be alone at Christmas time. Can you hang out with me? Can you talk to me? Can you call me?
And so she's like, okay, it's Christmas. Let's get back together. She was just a lovely person. And he took advantage of that.
By the end of 1982, Connie Navarro must face a financial reality. The gift shop she operates needs fast cash to stay afloat.
She had talked about closing up shop. At that point, she made another desperate attempt to keep her. John Dean Riccardi offered her $50,000 so that she could keep her business open. She politely declined and finally decided to break off the relationship once and for all.
By January of 1983, Connie Navarro closes her gift shop and ends her relationship with John Dean Riccardi.
Connie had it. She was done. She told him it was over and he needed to move on. But he couldn't take no, because if he can't have her, no other man is going to have her.
Seemingly overnight, Riccardi goes from being a possessive boyfriend to something far worse.
John Dean Riccardi devolved into a crazed maniac. There is no other way to put it. He spent his entire existence stalking and plotting against Connie.
There's something about her that just set him off.
Now free of Riccardi and in search of a new job, Connie Navarro attends.
She has a dinner meeting with an ad executive who had flown in from Connecticut. He was staying at a hotel and rented a car and met Connie in a restaurant.
And at the end of the dinner, the ad exec, who was happily married, gave her a little pep on the cheek to say goodnight.
When he gets back to his hotel room, he receives a phone call from a man who has a very strong New York, New Jersey accent and says, "What the hell are you doing kissing my girlfriend?" And he doesn't identify himself, and the ad exec says, "This was very innocent. I'm a happily married man. I have no intentions towards your girlfriend."
Stay away from my girlfriend, Connie, and if you ever try to do anything with her again, I will break her knees.
Her knees, not his knees. Would any jealous boyfriend say, "I'm going to break your knees if you kiss my girlfriend again"? No, he's going to break Connie's knees.
The next morning, the executive gets another threatening call.
Same voice on the other end of the phone, same thick New York accent, but this time it's even creepier. The caller says that he knows the flight itinerary of the ad agency exec, and he knows where he lives in Connecticut.
How would you like it if I flew to Connecticut and visited your wife? You leave my girlfriend alone. And when the ad exec got back to Connecticut, he called Connie and he said, "I just got a call from your boyfriend."
There's only one way that the caller would know all of these details about his travels, and that would be by breaking into his rental car.
John Dean Riccardi makes tracking Connie Navarro his only ambition as he stalks her every move.
As he was getting up from the table, he made a gesture with a gun like this, shooting her.
But his reign of terror spills over to threaten Connie's teenage son, Dave Navarro.
The handcuffs him. Dave's like, "Oh man,
This weekend, on Wheels, Mr. Rock's biggest is to provide complete balanced nutrition for strength and energy.
What it takes to get sure. With 9 grams of protein, 27 vitamins and minerals, and nutrients to support immune health.
Your journey requires Liberty Mutual. They customize your car insurance so you only pay for what you need.
wow, that will save you lots of money."
It seems boring.
Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
who aren't exactly sports guys. Narrow it to all the non-sports dads who love watching sports in the rain. With kids who can catch almost everything, especially in cold. That brings us to you. You're the one we made my Walgreens for. An easier way to save, shop, and perhaps catch a break. Introducing my Walgreens. Join and get 30-minute pickup at Walgreens.com.
She wanted to eat something good this morning. He wanted to escape crop. So she came prepared with Nutri-Grain. Made with real fruit and whole grains, people will actually eat. Kellogg's Nutri-Grain. Come prepared.
Depression makes it hard for me to follow through with my plans. The antidepressant helps, but there are times I still feel depressed and make excuses not to go out. Is it just me?
No. Many people taking antidepressants still have some symptoms. When taken with an antidepressant, Rexulti was proven to reduce depression symptoms an extra 62% compared to the antidepressant alone. So you can stay on your current treatment and help build on your progress.
Rexulti can cause serious side effects. Elderly dementia patients have increased risk of death or stroke. Antidepressants may increase suicidal thoughts and pushing depression in those under 25. Call your doctor about fever, stiff muscles, and confusion, which could be life-threatening. Or uncontrollable muscle movements, which may be permanent. Increased cholesterol, weight gain, high blood sugar.
So a lot of us content creators are stuck inside because of what's happening in the world right now, or we have chosen to be stuck inside, one of the two. And because of that, this is an opportunity for you as a YouTuber to develop some additional skills, to learn how to do things that will help you be a better content. Now, before we get into the content, I do want to let you know that this video was inspired by Matt over at Little Monster Media Company and by Film Riot, who also put out a similar video for filmmakers. And I'm going to put a link to both of them down in the description below. So definitely head over and subscribe to both channels, because as YouTube content creators, both of them are extremely valuable. Now, let's get into the list. The very first thing is to learn how to make B-roll for your videos so you can spice up your videos and make them better. So what B-roll is, if you're not familiar with that terminology, there is A-roll, which is basically the main footage. Like in this situation, what you're watching right now is A-roll, and that's the main footage of your video. And then there's B-roll, which is basically supporting footage for your video. So as I'm talking to you right now, you're seeing content on the screen that is not me talking. That is what B-roll is. B-roll can be made on a camera, and B-roll can also be made on your phone, regardless of the type of phone that you have, because as long as you have a camera on it, that gives you the ability to make any supporting footage that you could possibly need. So what I recommend in this situation is that you make a bunch of B-roll about the content that you make so that you can archive it all. So you can put them on a drive, and then when you need the B-roll to add to your content to spice things up a little bit and make a better video, then you can just access that archive, pull in the footage that you need, and then you're all set. Another thing when it comes to B-roll is if you make any type of tutorial content, or if you're doing anything where you're showing screenshots of anything, the same exact thing applies to where you can go ahead and take a bunch of screenshots of things now so that you can archive them and then use them in later videos. That part is like a productivity hack so that you can save yourself time in the future by making the stuff today. The next thing on the list is to spend some time learning graphic design. As a YouTuber, it's important to make sure that you can make thumbnails that are effective and that are pleasing aesthetically. It's also important to make sure that you can make channel art that looks good. It's also important you can make video graphics that look good and things like that. So it's really important to have at least a very basic understanding of graphic design. The things that you want to look for when you are looking for graphic design-based information is you want to look into things like color theory, because that will also help you make better video content as well. But you want to look into color theory, you want to look into font usage, you want to look into, how to get started with graphic design would be a great place to start. But anything related to graphic design is going to help you be a better content creator, because you're going to be able to use those skills here on YouTube, and you're also going to be able to use those skills elsewhere on social media. And as a bonus, if you get good at it, if you end up having to stay inside for a longer period of time, then it's also something you can offer as a service down the road. Next is to learn about audio processing and sound design. Now,
As a content creator, a lot of us just think video, I got to put out videos, but audio is half the video experience. You want to make sure that as a video creator, a video content creator, you want to make sure that you have at least a base understanding of audio processing and sound design. Some amazing resources for this are Mike Russell, Curtis Judd, and Peter McKinnon also has some content on sound design as well. Audio is important. Learn it at least at a base level. The next thing that you can do with some of this extra time that you have hanging out at home is to master some of the apps that you're using if you're doing anything on your phone. Even if you're not making videos on your phone, you can still use your phone for B-roll like I was talking about. If you are shooting B-roll with your phone, there is an app called Filmic Pro that I recommend that you check out. It's available for Android and for iPhones. It basically allows you to take DSLR settings and put them into your phone camera, so you can fully adjust pretty much everything. I'll put a link to Filmic Pro and some other apps and some other resources to help you get started with this down in the description. Next is to spend some time working on your channel. For example, organizing your content into playlists, making sure that your channel is set up properly. I have some videos on this that I'll link in the description down below. But basically just making sure that your channel is set up and that you're taking full advantage of all of YouTube's features to move traffic around and to organize your content and things like that. Even little things like really thinking through your video description template, adding pinned comments to old videos, updating thumbnails, things like that. Next is to learn more about video editing because you're a video creator. So it makes sense to where, of course, if you are good at just the base edits, to where you can start exploring a little bit and say, hey, what can I do or what do I need to learn in order to make the color look better in my videos? What do I need to learn in order to get the pacing better in my videos? Or hey, maybe now is a great opportunity to start experimenting with some additional editing software. DaVinci Resolve is a free, full-featured video editor that has pro-level features, so you can really make some awesome videos with it. If you're making videos on an iPhone, you can use Video Leap for free. If you're making videos on an Android, you can use KineMaster. There's another piece of editing software called HitFilm if you're on a computer that's really, really cool. You can even add special effects and things like that if you really want to start getting creative in your videos. And at the time of this recording, Adobe is even offering some free options so that you can experiment with their software as well. If you've been thinking, hey, do I want to try to experiment with Premiere Pro? Well, hey, now is your time to give it a shot. But regardless of the software or the app that you're making your videos in, now is the time
in the building. Good morning.
We're in the building. Good morning. The process of learning how to make amazing content. Now, I'm suggesting this next one on the list because a lot of people are home right now. A lot of people are looking for things to do. A lot of people are just looking for some other human-to-human interaction. So live streaming is something that you can also experiment with on your channel right now. When it comes to live streaming, in terms of the advantages, the community aspect of live streaming is kind of where it's at with live streaming. So because of that, being able to take advantage of this situation with a lot of people being home, a lot of people being online and looking for things to do is a fantastic way to introduce yourself to live streaming so that you can connect with people. Another thing that you can do as a YouTuber is you can start making a daily vlog. Now, hold on. I'm not saying that you have to publish the daily vlog. All I'm saying is that you start vlogging what's happening and what it is that you're going through at home and start sharing your thoughts with the camera as kind of like a therapy. And of course, shooting things that are happening around your house and things like that. I just watched a video recently from Cody Warner, and he actually put out a challenge of B-roll to where it's like, hey, get B-roll of all of this stuff that you're going through right now, because this is a moment in time that we're all going to be able to look back on, and we're all going to be able to share this story. And when we share what it is that we're going through right now, having footage that will support what it is that we're saying that you can add to your videos is a huge win. I'll actually put a link to Cody's video down in the description. Next on the list is to work on your social media presence in general. So, of course, we have YouTube, but in terms of social media, you also have TikTok and LinkedIn and Twitter and Facebook and anything else that's out there right now. And because of that, you have this opportunity to where you can study some of those platforms as well, try to figure out where your content would be the best fit, and then start making some content for that as well. As a matter of fact, one of the things that Matt from Little Monster Media Company mentioned in his post, which again, I'm going to put a link to him in the description, but one of the things that he mentioned was to actually use this opportunity to take some of the old content that's on your channel and cut it up into social media clips and then start distributing it through social media so that you can use this moment in time to start building up your other social media assets as well. And I think that's great advice because your audience, the people that are watching your videos, there's a really good chance that they are on some of these other platforms as well. And because of that, if you at least have a minor presence there, that gives them one other place where they can interact with you and what it is that you're doing. Now, this next one is something that is helping me a lot in this situation that we're going through right now, because let's just call it what it is. We're in a difficult time right now. We're all in a situation where it's new to us. We've never went through something like this in our lifetimes before. So for me, meditation has been something that has really been helping me just to kind of keep a handle on my brain and keep myself from stressing out over everything that's happening right now. I mean, I'm looking on Reddit, I'm looking on Twitter, I'm looking on Facebook, and, you know, we're all stressed out. We're all overwhelmed. We're all, you know, just going through all these emotional things right now. And meditation is something that can help you with that in a major way. And one of the best parts about meditation is it's free. You don't have to put out any money for it. You don't have to be in any special environment. Nothing has to be any certain way for you to learn to meditate. All you have to do when it comes to meditation is find a comfortable place to sit down. Once you find that comfortable place to sit down, all you have to do at that point is close your eyes, and then you focus on the breath going in and out of your body, okay? Now, when you're doing this, your mind is going to start wandering. Your mind's going to start thinking about what's going on in your house. Your mind is going to start thinking about your YouTube channel. Your mind is going to start thinking about, you know, the things that are happening in the world right now. Your mind's going to just do what your brain does, which is just randomly think about things. It's important to know that that is perfectly normal when your brain is doing that, when you're sitting there trying to chill out and your brain is thinking of all these things. It's perfectly normal. It doesn't mean that you're doing anything wrong or incorrect. All it means is that your brain is doing what your brain does. But what you do in this situation is when you notice that your brain is wondering and focusing on all these things, is you take that attention that is spread out on all the things that you're thinking about and you bring it back to the breath that you're taking with each breath that you take. You do this over and over and over again for 10 to 20 minutes, unless you get really into it. Then in that situation, of course, you can go for as long as you would like. But the idea is to simply focus on your breath and the air going in and out of your body. And when you notice that your mind is wandering, just saying, okay, oh, there goes my mind. My mind is wandering. So now I'm going to bring it back in and I'm going to focus on my breath again. You just do that over and over again. Not only is this going to help you in terms of stress reduction and anxiety reduction and just dealing with what we're going through right now, but this is also going to train your brain to focus, because what you're doing is you're catching your mind wandering and pulling it back to what it is that you're focusing on over and over and over again, which is a skill or a muscle, I should say, that ends up getting developed when it comes to being able to focus. Now, if you want to explore the idea of meditation, and let's say you don't want to do it yourself, or you don't really know what to do, or you just want to have that accountability of actually sitting down and doing it every day, I'm actually going to start live streaming during this situation that we're going through right now. I'm going to start live streaming a daily meditation session, and I would like to invite you to join me. And I'm going to put a link to that right here so you can check it out and go over there and subscribe to that channel and join me for daily meditation if it's something you would like to try. Another thing that I want to say, just on a personal note from me to you, is that, you know, this is definitely a difficult time right now that we're going through. It's scary. It's something that is causing a lot of anxiety and stress, you know, for everybody. And I just want to, you know, just say my piece in terms of, you know, I believe that we're going to get through this. I believe that there will be a solution to it. I don't know how long it's going to take, but this is definitely something, it's an interesting period of time that we're going through right now, and we're going to get through it. Also, as part of the things that you can do while you're chilling at home, I put together a download pack for you. This is also inspired by Film Riot. You can find that at bestcreatortools.com/CB. And basically it's some stuff in there that you can just use in your videos and that you can add to your YouTube channel, things like that. Hopefully it'll just give you something to do for a little period of time, and some assets that you can use for your content. It's all royalty free. You can use it for whatever it is that you want. The only thing that I ask is that you don't try to like resell it or anything like that. Now, again, if you want to subscribe to that other channel, you can do so right here. And if you want to learn more about YouTube and online video, then make sure you click into this playlist right here. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.
All right, later. Peace out, baby.
With moderate to severe ulcerative colitis or Crohn.
Oh, sweet Jesus. Ain't nobody online. Killer Will. Patrick. I finished watching my movie. There you go. G Kicks. That was 12 hours ago. All right. Okay. Nobody online.
Sat down with CBS This Morning's Yall King.
Whenever I'm over the sugar, what I miss. Oh, back to the movie, Jesus. No YouTube tonight. Or tomorrow. And remember to miss Cicely Tyson, my mentor. I'm in Montes. Oh, Lord.
Here's a new smile that costs up to 60% less than braces. Go from this to this. Start your New Year's smile for free at SmileDirectClub.com.
Just $1. Man, face the music. The best friends return to search the future for the ultimate rock anthem. No way! Watch Bill and Ted Face the Music on demand. And this weekend on Wheels.
Yeah, my favorite is about everything. Oh, God. I'm here. Oh, that was good. Let's go.
Main guitarist and television personality.
Big old
audience. With his musical skill,
You all right?
colorful personality. But long before the cheers of adoring fans, Navarro is threatened by a crazed stalker bent on controlling his mother, Connie. Having been confronted at gunpoint, both Connie and Dave Navarro know that former boyfriend John Dean Riccardi is armed and dangerous. But what they don't know is what he'll do next. Connie Navarro and close friend Sue Jory return home for a nightcap. At around 10:30 p.m., Connie makes her way up to a second-floor bedroom, only to find John Dean Riccardi.
He did make access through the skylight window. Wait for it. That hangar's building. And it's building and it's building.
And I really believe this was the final argument that they had. I think she told him, "You are out of my life. This is the end of it."
He went from 0 to 60 in her age.
Angry and rejected, Riccardi decides to finally end the relationship with Connie.
John Riccardi had a gun. He shot her twice in the chest, using a pillow as a silencer.
Damn.
And Sue Jory comes running up the steps, and he shoots her in the jaw.
Oh, my
Goes
God.
through her neck. She falls dead on the floor.
Jesus, have mercy.
He tries to clean up the scene and make it look like an intruder. He hides Connie's body in the linen closet, stuffs her in there, stuffs the pillow on her. He takes Sue's body, drags it into the main bedroom, Connie's bedroom, face down.
Ex-husband Mike Navarro discovers the two bodies the following day and calls 911. Police descend on the Navarro condo to process the murder scene.
They found Riccardi's fingerprint in the laundry closet. Very quickly, they have the arrest warrant out for him.
The Los Angeles police raid John Dean Riccardi's apartment.
They found a treasure trove of evidence. They found guns. They found ammunition. They found handcuffs. They found everything that a police investigator would want to find in the home of a suspected killer. The only thing they didn't find was John Dean Riccardi. After the killings, it's almost as if John Dean Riccardi became a ghost. He vanished.
Certain John Riccardi has fled Los Angeles. Local authorities turn to the FBI for help.
Once he crosses state lines to avoid prosecution, the Los Angeles Police Department will contact the FBI and get these cases assigned to us. It'll be up to us to go out and obtain a federal warrant, which gives all the resources of the FBI to track down these fugitives.
What FBI agent DeFonso soon discovers is the career criminal John Dean Riccardi knows how to hide.
He was probably the most cunning person I've tracked in my career. It's easy to catch people that don't have resources to stay out there. It's hard to catch people that have resources. And John Riccardi had resources to get money, and he was organized.
While Riccardi is on the run, a teenage Dave Navarro pours his energies into his music. He joins the Notre Dame High School band, where he meets fellow bandmate Stephen Perkins. In 1985, the two form the alternative rock band Jane's Addiction.
Dave Navarro in the alternative music realm is a legend. This is a guy that was seen as a phenom on the guitar. You look at Guns N' Roses, you look at Nine Inch Nails. These are bands that essentially begged Dave Navarro to play with them. That was how much Dave Navarro was coveted, and that was how much he was respected as a guitarist.
Still haunted by his mother's death, Navarro suffers from survivor's guilt.
Dave Navarro was supposed to be at his mother's house the night that she and her best friend were slaughtered. Dave Navarro spent that evening at his father's house. So Dave has to live the rest of his life thinking to himself, if he were at home that night, would he have been murdered? And while he was very successful in terms of his music career, he was also very much going down a road of addiction. It started with marijuana. It eventually graduated into Dave Navarro being a full-fledged heroin addict.
All the while, Dave Navarro fears Riccardi may one day land on his doorstep.
Dave, for years, was afraid Riccardi was going to come back and kill him. He's off pursuing his music career, but he doesn't know where this man is. Is he going to return?
After 6 years of searching, the FBI is no closer to catching the fugitive, John D. Riccardi.
We came up with nothing concrete that led us in a particular direction. We had no way of getting information out like you could today. So in 1989, I turned to America's Most Wanted. They had a national audience. It was the first big crime fighting show. Able to get a lot of good information, and that was important to me.
The investigation needed to be re-energized, it needed to be reinvigorated, and America's Most Wanted was the platform to do it.
Having previously closed fugitive cases with the help of the show, DeFonso partners up with AMW producer Donna Brandt to capture Riccardi.
And of course, it was a perfect story because it had beautiful people and it had a double homicide, and we were like, oh my God, this guy is horrible. He needs to be put behind bars.
They knew a lot about the suspect, and now they needed that one tip that would put that suspect behind bars and bring justice to the Navarro family.
Once the Riccardi profile airs on America's Most Wanted, the show receives their first tip from the audience.
Riccardi was alive. He'd been seen at the gym in New York.
Ralph and his team descended on the gym, and they found that Riccardi hadn't been there for the past 5 days, and he was in the wind.
With few additional leads to follow, America's Most Wanted airs the Riccardi story again.
And in the second airing, we got a big tip about Riccardi having plastic surgery and having a new girlfriend.
Agent DeFonso contacts plastic surgeons in New York and Florida, but ultimately finds Riccardi's doctor in New Jersey.
Went over there, sat down with him, obtained photographs, knew what he looked like at this time.
The FBI also finds an eyewitness that draws sketches of both the fugitive John D. Riccardi and his new girlfriend. And then in 1990, AMW airs the Riccardi profile once more.
After the third airing on America's Most Wanted, a tipster called and said they were 100% sure that they knew the whereabouts of John D. Riccardi.
Riccardi picked up the move to Houston, Texas, using the alias William Hyena.
John Riccardi was setting up his new burglary operation out there. He had a place where he was staying, and I knew we were going to go one side of the front.
FBI officers surround Riccardi's high-rise condominium. But will this career criminal continue to be one step ahead of law enforcement?
He was going all over the place until he sat and we waited.
Or will John Riccardi make a desperate move to remain free?
He decides to make a run for it
Smith and Big Joe.
These fudge brownie M&Ms are really fudgy.
Yes, they are.
To put a fudge brownie center in an M&M's.
Genius. I know.
I was going to say hard. Why won't you go?
Fudge brownie M&Ms.
Discover the deep clean Brazil discs. They remove not only visible stains, but even invisible dirt. For a true deep clean, try Brazil discs.
Well, hey guys, what's going on? It's me, girl Stacy. Watching a little bit of documentary on the reels about famous musicians and other crazy people out there to get so destructive things to each other. So I'm looking up at the chat, see 2 thumbs up, 2 people in the building. Thank you so much, guys, for your love and support. Tonight I'm trying to go over that 1,000. I'm trying to do. Hit that like button, smash your heart, because I promise you, you're gonna get some good content. I'm researching, doing a lot of things right now due to the fact that my mentor, she died today, 96. She lived a wonderful life. She tells about God. She's a fellow Eastern Star, and so am I. With that being said, guys, hey, I love you so much. Looking up at the chat, but go ahead, do what you got to do. Let me know what I'm doing, what you want to see. Eat the big meal today. Hope and find this wine, seeing that stuff today. You know what I mean? I put my foot in it. The food is so good. We all laying around like logs and frog on a log, and Ronnie's back there knocked out. And I decided to go ahead and just live stream, have a live stream, all night live stream. So I'm gonna be doing this until probably about 5 o'clock. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna make it to the freaking Friday party, y'all. Hey, what's up?
Nurtec is the only quick dissolve treatment for migraine attacks that can get many people back to normal activities and last up to 48 hours. It's just 1 dose. Don't take if allergic to Nurtec. The most common side effect was nausea. For more information, go to nurtec.com.
It's Macy's Big Home Sale with incredible deals for every room in your house. Like an extra 15% off blenders, juicers, and kitchen prep. And new Charter Club domestic bedding now 60% off. Plus the Radley sectional for $1,879. Now at Macy's.
Mom, I can't find Mr. Craggle.
Mom's in your cold right now. She's enjoying yummy dark chocolate and refreshing foods.
Mom is back. The turkey loaf just better.
Hey, you brought some brats, huh? What if the store took back all the brats you didn't eat at the end of the month the way some wireless companies take back your data?
That would be weird.
TracFone Wireless gives you unlimited carryover data, so if you pay for brats, you get to keep your brats. You also get unlimited talk and text on America's best 4G LTE networks for $20. No contract.
Wow, that's great.
Hit decline. I don't want to talk to her. Hit me. Get me. This is your wake-up call, people. TracFone Wireless. Now you're in control.
Ghirardelli caramel squares. Makes life a bite better.
New Advil Dual Action with acetaminophen fights pain in 2 ways. Advil targets pain at the source, while acetaminophen blocks pain signals. The future of pain relief is here. New Advil Dual Action.
In the early 1990s, Dave Navarro and his family tried to heal and move on from the shooting deaths of his mother Connie and family friend Sue Jordan. As Dave's music career takes off, his mother's alleged killer, John Dean Riccardi, evades capture for years. With the help of the television show America's Most Wanted, the FBI locates Riccardi's new Houston, Texas address. Only one question remains. Will this fugitive finally be brought to justice?
January 4th, 1991. 8 years on the run. It all ends for Riccardi at 1:30 in the afternoon. He is driving into his parking lot and he's surrounded by 10 FBI agents.
We drove up to this Cadillac and we hit him. Our Houston agents took him in custody without incident.
Our camera crew was there. And it was like, did you see yourself on America's Most Wanted? And he said, I saw somebody who looked like me on America's Most Wanted. And then our reporter said, did you do it? Did you kill Connie? He goes, no, darling, I didn't. the charmer even as he's carted off in handcuffs.
Once Riccardi is taken into custody, the FBI searches his condo for evidence in the killings and past burglaries. And they are not disappointed.
He'd been collecting trophies of all the treasures that he had stolen. It was sort of a psychotic hoarder's dream. There were armoires filled with crystal clocks and Tiffany clocks like worth $1 million. There was $87,000 cash in the safe. They found, I think, close to $500,000 worth of gold jewelry, rings, watches. In the VCR was a tape of America's Most Wanted.
And the FBI finds a pamphlet mailed to Riccardi on March 3rd, 1983, entitled How to Vanish and Start Life Over Again Under a New Identity. The same night, Riccardi ambushed and killed the two women. After being hit by the federal charges, John D. Riccardi sits in a Houston court awaiting legal proceedings. He decides to make a run for it. He runs toward the window and he smashes out the window and gets to the ledge, the 10th floor ledge, overlooking the outside of the courthouse, and he's threatening to jump.
And it's at 4:30 in the afternoon, and after a while, there's like 200 people down there egging him on. Come on, jump, jump. The news helicopters are flying over, and he's yelling at them. Oh, you parasites, why don't you go home and watch it on the TV? He was on that ledge for almost 12 hours. It was 3:40 in the morning when they finally got him off. But it made Time magazine. It was crazy. And here I am, sitting in America's Most Wanted newsroom. We're watching this live. And I'm like, oh my God, that's my future.
Riccardi served 3 years in Texas for theft before being extradited to California, where finally he faces murder charges in the deaths of Sue Jory and Connie Navarro.
Prosecutors were convinced that they had everything they needed and more to put John Dean Riccardi away for a long time, or even to get the death penalty.
It was a solid case. Once we called him, he was history.
Prosecutors presented two witnesses that recount Riccardi's confessions immediately following the shootings. First to testify is John's partner in burglary.
He testified that Riccardi had phoned him the night of the murders, confessing and walking him through exactly how he had killed these two women. Riccardi's stepmother testified that Riccardi's dad had told her that Dean had killed these two women and had confessed to him on the phone.
The prosecution also calls to testify 27-year-old celebrity guitarist Dave Navarro.
Dave Navarro explains how his life was destroyed by this murder. He'd been involved with heroin, he'd been in and out of rehab, and he felt guilt for not having warned his mom of what had happened to him with Riccardi.
It takes the jury in this double homicide case just 8 hours to find John Dean Riccardi guilty.
Ultimately, weeks later, a judge sentences John Dean Riccardi to the death penalty. For the Navarro family, that verdict of guilty isn't closure for the family because they're never going to get their loved one back. The Navarro family no longer had to live in fear that this man was going to come back and harm them anymore.
In the years that follow, Dave Navarro goes on to lead a very colorful life.
Here's a guy who's a wizard with the guitar who evolved into a TV star. He did the Ink Master show. He did Rockstar in Excess. By the age of 40, he had been married and divorced 3 different times. Most notably, he was married to Carmen Electra.
Now in recovery, Dave Navarro uses his celebrity status to champion a cause very close to his heart.
He's now focused his energy on helping other victims of domestic violence. He's a wonderful advocate. I'm sorry. I'm getting emotional. I think it's it's so difficult for women to get out from under these situations. So I applaud Dave Navarro for leading the cause and helping others because he's seen it firsthand and he knows how dangerous and insidious it is and how easy it is to fall under the spell.
In 2012, the justices of the Supreme Court of California overturned John McCarty's death sentence, reducing it to life without parole. In order to put his troubled past behind him, Dave Navarro produces an autobiographical document called Morning Sun, detailing his life journey before and after his mother's brutal murder. Dave continues to deal with the demons of his past, but he grows ever stronger. Today, his fans, both stage and screen, are delighted by the many offerings of this great talent, a wounded son of a beautiful and loving mother. I'm Harold Worker. A visionary film director haunted by demons, murder, and misdeeds. I like young women, let's put it this way. Before he pled guilty to a crime that drove him from the United States forever, Polanski dodged Nazi as a child of the Holocaust. As a young Jewish boy living in the ghetto, the price he paid if his act isn't good is he'd be killed. He impressed Hollywood with the cinematic storytelling, receiving his first Oscar nomination at the age of 31. And he found true love with his wife, the actress Sharon Tate. But his world comes tumbling down around him in a million pieces when Sharon and their unborn baby are brutally split in 1969. During atrocities that will become known as possibly the most gruesome in the annals of American crime. I'm sort of shaking right now, just even like feeling it's horrible. And you wonder why they created horror movies off this murder. The world comes to know Sharon's murderer, Charles Manson, as Satan on earth. His followers see him as God. People essentially thought he was Jesus Christ. With help from his content, a cult of demon hippie children, Charles Manson brings Polanski to his knees with grief and loss.
There was blood all over the walls. There was blood all over the floors. It was really scary.
Roman Polanski. His mother was gassed to death in Auschwitz. The killing of Sharon and the baby boy they named Paul was tragically no murder in the family. You either find Jesus or you run with the devil. Run with the devil. In August 1969, director Roman Polanski was on top of the world. Still years away from being charged with his own sexual misdeeds. Polanski was riding a wave of success after his Oscar-winning thriller Rosemary's Baby. But not far from those potshells of Hollywood, Charles Manson, a violent career criminal who grew up behind bars, was about to unleash a wave of serial murder unlike anything the United States had ever known. Roman Polanski and Sharon Tate could never have imagined that they would fall square into Manson's cause. The couple are expecting their first child. The Polanski's entire existence will shatter into infinite pieces because of murders in the family. The bloodbath returned Charles Manson into a notorious paragon of evil, a household name. In 1988, I sat down with Manson, the devil incarnate, for an interview I will never forget. That rare footage comes later in this episode. The flashpoint that was 1969. He is as much a character in his story as the people in it. The United States is in turmoil, caught in the grip of cultural revolution, LSD, Vietnam, and humankind's first fragile steps into the cosmos. Young people are breaking away from their elders and demanding all forms of change. California was center stage for the revolution. That's where people were going, and everybody was loving and open, wanting to be around each other. Hippie culture may have professed peace neighborhood in LA's Hollywood Hills. Four friends had finished a late dinner at the famous El Coyote restaurant on Beverly Boulevard, returning to Roman Polanski's rented home, while the film director is in London, working on a science fiction film, The Day of the Dolphin. His wife, Sharon Tate, pregnant with their first child, is relaxing in the home with two housemates, Abigail Folger, a young heiress with the Folger coffee fortune, and her boyfriend, Wojtek Frykowski, also at the house that night is Sharon's former boyfriend, and still close pal, Jay Sebring. Sebring is a hairstylist to the star. The home has a small carriage house above the garage. It's occupied by William Garrison. On the night of August 8th, Garrison had an acquaintance over for a short period. 18-year-old Stephen Sharon too will be murdered that night by the Manson family. In the wrong place at the wrong time. The address, 10050 Cielo Drive, will soon become world famous.
If I were a cop and I came in to that murder scene the next morning, I would have been beside myself.
When responding officers arrived at Cielo Drive the next day on August 9th, even the most seasoned homicide detectives could not believe what they were seeing.
Working murders for 24 years, I've never experienced anything like it. 5 victims in one location. I mean, Benedict Canyon is nice a neighborhood. And Los Angeles as it gets. You can't even explain it.
At the base of the driveway, Stephen Parent was dead in his home, shot 4 times.
Further up towards the house, there were 2 bodies on the front yard. They were covered in blood.
Folger and Frykowski were dead on the lawn. They unsuccessfully had tried to escape the house, but were hunted down as they ran away.
They had to make entry, and there's 2 more dead people, ropes around their neck, and a pregnant victim in late pregnancy. What happened?
Sharon Tate was absolutely butchered with knife wounds, a noose tied around her neck. Frykowski was riddled with defense wounds, a clear indication he had tried to ward off his attackers. In perhaps the most chilling feature of these gruesome murders, the word "dig" is scrawled in blood on the front door to the home. Lab tests would reveal it was written in Sharon Tate's blood.
I hate to say it, but the average homicide detective, you may feel it later, but while you're at that crime scene, it's all business, and you're trying to figure out how to catch up to the bad guy that did it.
William Garrison is the only person alive on the property by the morning, asleep in the quarters adjacent to the main house. Garrison, only 19 years old, is being paid $35 a week, plus free room and board to watch over the property. But he does not know Polanski, nor Tate well, and he spent little time in the main house. Police immediately take him into custody, and Garrison quickly falls into shock when shown the bodies on the lawn. And he cannot even identify victim Stephen Parent, who had visited him in the cottage only about 8 hours before.
I'm not sure what raised the suspicion of the detectives to think that Garrison was involved. If in the detectives' minds, it was too difficult to think that he did not hear anything with 4 people being murdered feet away.
Meanwhile, in London, Roman Polanski receives a phone call that his wife, unborn child, and his friends are all gone. So Roman Polanski gets a phone call. They're all dead. How do you comprehend a murder of that magnitude? Nothing like that had ever happened before. Stunned, Polanski crawls onto the next plane back to Los Angeles. He has no idea that when he lands, he will immediately be a suspect in the murder.
With your eyes, see rosemary.
And later, my personal one-on-one time with the murderous monster, Charles Manson.
Introducing the only national USDA certified organic hard seltzer. New spicy pineapple Michelob Ultra organic seltzer. Don't fall for anything else. As real as it tastes.
Whatever their sensitive skin gets into, get it out with all 3
Only Yall is the #1 brand created by dermatologists and 100% free of perfumes and dyes. Try it now, all free clear, the #1 detergent brand for sensitive skin. 3 miles.
New year, new choices. Choose faster.
4 miles.
Choose healthier. Choose smile. New year, new smile. It costs up to 60% less than braces. Go from this to this. And start seeing results in as little as 60 days. Start your new year smile for free at SmileDirectClub.com. Jade wanted to eat something good this morning. He wanted to escape crop. So she came prepared with Nutri-Grain. Made with real fruit and whole grains, people will actually eat. Kellogg's Nutri-Grain. Come prepared.
National University offers 100% online degree programs with flexible 4-week classes, so you can earn your degree on your schedule. Scholarships available. Apply today at nu.edu.
I always thought it was me, that I was the reason all these diets never worked.
It made me realize that I never really learned how to eat right.
It gets results by teaching you a lot about your own eating habits.
This doesn't feel restrictive. It feels like a true lifestyle change.
Once I understood why I was making those choices, it was easy for me to change those habits, and weight loss came naturally after that.
I've been on Noom for 4 months now. I lost 27 pounds and I feel like I got my life back.
Visit Noom.com and lose the weight for good.
That moment you walk in the office, people are wearing the same gear, you feel a sense of connectedness. Our shirts from company help bring us together. Custom Ink has hundreds of products to help you look and feel like a team. Get started today at customink.com.
With Audible, I can be transported somewhere that is impossible to go.
The Audible Plus catalog is awesome.
It's like having a streaming service, but just for audio content.
There's so many options.
There's podcasts. I'll listen to meditations. I love Audible originals.
Mythology, anthropology, a lot of the ologies. They pretty much have whatever you like.
It's just endless.
To start your free 30-day trial, just text JOIN36 to 500 500.
Sometimes the smallest gestures can be the most refreshing. Give extra, get extra.
My Walgreens, with Save a Trip refills that let you pick up all your prescriptions all on the same day, we make filling your Medicare prescriptions feel like clockwork, so you can get back to what you'd rather be doing.
Want a great movie you can watch at home? We'll recommend. Face the Music. The Best Friends Return to search the future for the watch the listen and face the music on demand.
Roman Polanski lost his wife, unborn child, and friends in a crime so gruesome it is hard to find the vocabulary to describe it. In a sad way, it was another chapter of unspeakable loss in the life story of this tragic figure.
She didn't touch alcohol. She didn't smoke cigarettes.
Roman Polanski suffered more horrors than any human being should.
Roman Polanski's childhood was in most ways a nightmare, occurring during a turbulent and unlucky time. His parents were Polish, but Roman was born in Paris in 1933, where his father Richard and mother Julie had moved so that Richard could pursue a career as a painter.
He's apparently not a very good painter because a few years later, in 1936, when Roman is 3, they decide to move back to Poland. Now, even a cursory reading of history will tell you that 1936 is about the worst time a Jewish family
Nazis prepared to invade Poland and the rest of Europe. Jews by origin, the Polanskis were not religious people, and Roman called Romek as a nickname had no real concept of what it meant to be Jewish. Still, the Polanskis had to watch their backs, as census takers came by to inquire as to whether Romek had been baptized Catholic.
Within a few years, Hitler's on the march, and they're living in what is essentially a ghetto.
As the Nazi drumbeat grows louder in 1939, Richard Polansky makes another grave miscalculation. Thinking of safety for his family, they moved 150 miles to the capital city of Warsaw, which is further from the German border. On September 1st of that year, the Germans overrun the city, and the Polish Defense Forces crumbled. World War II is underway. In less than 1 month, the Germans slaughter 70,000 Polish troops and make prisoners of 700,000 more. The Polanskis are confined to a dark basement where 6-year-old Romek dozes fully clothed in his mother's arms. When the Polanskis gingerly emerge from their underground hideaway, Roman holds his father's hand as they walk the streets of Warsaw, littered with corpses of all ages, some of them suicides. The Polansky family makes their way back to Krakow, where they live for a short while.
The Polanskis were pushed into a ghetto at the time that the Nazis referred to as a Jew sector. Roman was able to go to school for a while, but then abruptly all the Jewish kids were expelled. Roman wouldn't see the inside of a classroom for another 6 years.
One story he told from those times, he's moving around the ghetto, and he sees a German officer marching a family. And at one point, the elder in the family, the older lady, is getting unruly or speaking out. He watches as this officer unholsters his gun and shoots her right there. And he runs from the scene and hides under a stairway, and it's just incredibly traumatizing.
The Krakow ghetto, overcrowded and underfed, steadily becomes more and more desperate as World War II rages. The Polanskis are friends with a Christian family called the Wilts, and often they take Roman to the Wilts' house for food, safety, and some semblance of a normal life.
This was not a storybook arrangement, though being a Wilk, he probably saved his life. I mean, he basically has to become a de facto non-Jew. And, the price he'd pay if his act isn't good is he'd be killed.
During this period, Roman's mother Gula works as a housekeeper inside the Krakow headquarters of the German Army Command. It's a castle in the heart of town called Avon.
In February 1943, Roman watches as his mother is taken away. She's sent to Auschwitz, where she'll die almost immediately.
In what will eventually be a chilling irony in the life of Roman Polansky, his mother is sent to her death while 4 months pregnant. The following month, March 14, 1943, the German army fully liquidates the Krakow ghetto.
So that's the sort of wallpaper of what his childhood is becoming. But it gets worse. A month later, Richard is also taken away. And as he's being taken away, he grabs his son and says, get out. And he won't see his father again until after the war.
Roman takes on the name of his Christian benefactors and calls himself Romek Wilk. For the next 2 years, he lives by his wits, his childhood lost, his mother murdered, and circumstances forcing him to grow up very quickly.
Roman Polanski lost his childhood. He was arrested and stuck in that 9-year-old mind. He was trying to avoid the Nazis and survive.
His mother exterminated, his father starving in a concentration camp. Somehow Roman will survive. only to be brutally kicked there again by more murder in the family.
Social Block starts Saturday.
Our wheels were grateful to everyone, to teachers at school and at home, to parents for the greatest balancing act ever.
Book and join Reels in supporting educators and parents at reelscares.com.
Whether you're curling, crunching, running, riding, lifting, or lunging, balance it all out with some ice cold serving and enjoy.
The moments that make you, Yall gets you clean. It cleanses and hydrates, leaving behind clean, soft skin.
Let's start with all the dads who aren't exactly sports guys. Narrow it to all the non-sports dads who love watching sports in the rain. With kids who can catch almost everything, especially in cold. That brings us to you. You're the one we need my Walgreens for. An easier way to save, shop, and perhaps catch a break. Introducing my Walgreens. Join and get 30-minute pickup at Walgreens.com.
By 2004, I had done well for myself, but I didn't feel well. I'd always been a diet soda drinker, but I realized they're full of diet sweeteners. I forced myself to switch to plain water. Within weeks, my skin was looking healthier, I had more energy, and I had finally lost the weight that I was looking to lose. But I was really getting bored of plain water. A slice of fruit helped add some flavor, but when I looked for a simple flavored water in stores, I realized that everything had diet sweeteners or some sort of sugar. So I started Hint to help everyone fall in love with water.
At Hint, we infuse water with delicious fruit essences. No diet sweeteners, no sugar, and no calories. Just great taste. For a limited time, new customers can get 3 cases of our top 3 flavors for just $1 per month. Plus, get free shipping and a free limited edition Hint drawstring backpack if you order now. Drink water, not sugar. Go to drinkhint.com to try Hint water now.
We miss being together, but you can still feel a strong sense of community with custom gear from Custom Ink. We've developed new tools to make it easy for you. Custom Ink has hundreds of products, including masks, to help you stay connected. Upload your logo or start your design today at customink.com.
For 50 years, National University has championed affordable, accessible, achievable higher education for everyone. That's why we offer 100% online degree programs and flexible 4-week classes that let you start sooner and finish faster. And now, National University is investing $30 million in scholarship opportunities, so your education is more affordable than ever before. National University. Explore 100% online programs today at nu.edu.
Hello?
Hello there. Enjoy his tropic When you need a taste of vacation, pick up
Aerosmith Breaking the Band on Reels.
Before he even reached puberty, Roman Polanski had stared deep into the twin faces of both death and loss. His mother was gassed at the hands of Hitler's Third Reich, the first murder in the family Roman suffered, while his father struggled to survive in Nazi concentration camps as World War II raged. The young Polanski grew up quickly in occupied Poland as the Allies in Europe closed in on Hitler. Hope blossomed for young Roman. But it would not be long before he was visited by more trauma and eventually by more murder in the family. By the summer of 1944, Stalin's troops had broken through chinks in the German army's defense of Warsaw. Poland is slowly on its way to liberation from the Nazis' grip.
So the city is liberated, but it's not as
as if it's now suddenly some incredible oasis for Jews. Most of them are gone.
The Jews who did remain faced harassment from the Polish army, including assault and lynching. Running wild through the streets of Krakow, Roman serendipitously bumps into his uncle, Richard's brother Stefan, along with his wife, faces the feral boy.
He was wolfing down food, didn't have manners, didn't really know how to act around others because he was just running through the streets like a wild child for so long.
Roman, still using the pseudonym Roman Will, joins the Boy Scouts under that name.
So with the Boy Scouts, which is not just meeting every 2 weeks to tie knots, it's an important part of the social culture there in Poland after the war. And he's kind of like the entertainer, like sort of the life of the party.
One day, sometime after the war's end, Roman's father Richard suddenly appears at the home of his brother.
After 2.5 years, the Polanski men are reunited.
His father has been freed from this concentration camp, and they will never talk about the death of Roman's mother. They will never talk about the gas attachment. Not once before Richard dies in 1983.
After the war's end, Roman Polanski slowly begins putting his life back on track. He is obsessed with two things, acting and cinema. Perhaps these pursuits are ways to bury the pain of having survived the Holocaust, yet losing so much, including his mom.
Poland is now run by the Russians, and so even though the movies were censored during that time, he had passion for cinema, and he would love to go to the movie theaters alone and watch movie after movie, and was deeply in love with it.
It's not surprising that after going through what he went through during the war, he was seeking some kind of escape. I mean, where better than in the world of film? And that's what Roman finds is his great obsession.
At this time, Roman's a teenager, and he's falling for the opposite sex. His girlfriends describe him as really charming, funny, and eventually he'd become known as the legendary womanizer.
During the 1960s, when free love was fashionable, even his marriage to Sharon Tate would not temper Roman's appetite for female companionship. Polanski is also a natural athlete, staying in shape by skiing and racing bikes.
After everything he's been through, he's almost done in by a guy who tells him he's going to sell him a racing bike.
At around the age of 16, Polanski connects with an acquaintance named Janice Zuba, who meets Roman in a park, promising to sell him a specialized racing bike. It is an ambush. Zuba strikes Polanski on the back of his head, robbing him and leaving him for dead.
There's a witness, a truck driver, who drives by this incident. He had gone out of his truck to help Roman and attack the guy that attacked Roman.
Roman is transported to the hospital, where he gets 18 stitches from his wound. It turns out Zuba was a known criminal and had even killed 2 people before his encounter in the park with Polanski. In 1949, Janice Zuba is hanged for his crimes. By the age of 19, now a recent graduate of Krakow's Academy of Fine Arts, Roman Polanski applies to film school, but is rejected several times before finding a place at the National Film School at Lodz. It is a cause of celebration for his family. Failure to get into school would have meant being drafted into the Soviet army.
Roman is really growing in film school and getting lost in it. Every movie he did was better than the last, and he was really becoming a man of the finer things in life, the luxury.
His time at the film school in Lodz culminates with a brilliant piece called Night in the Water. The movie premieres in New York and is nominated for an Oscar in 1964 for Best Foreign Language Film. It was that year that Roman Polanski made his way to the USA for the first time, sitting at the Oscars next to Federico Fellini, who took the prize away from Roman that night. It hardly mattered. Roman Polanski was on the map in a big way. I was staring out the window of the light. By 1966, Roman Polanski is 33 years old and doing better than anyone in his family had ever done before.
He's a successful filmmaker, director. He's got his own production company, and he's splitting his time between Paris, London, and LA.
That summer, Polanski first meets the woman of his dreams.
Some of the European papers have been calling you the new Marilyn Monroe. Roman Polanski is chilling in London. He goes to visit a movie set called Eye of the Devil, and he sees and is smitten by this 23-year-old gorgeous actress on set. Her name is Sharon Tate, and it was really love at first sight for Roman Polanski.
Tate was born into a military family in 1943. Given Dad's Army service, the Tates moved frequently. And when they landed in San Pedro, California, by the time Sharon was 18, it gave her close proximity to Hollywood and her dream of being an actress. She was spotted by a producer named Marty Ransom, who cast her in bit parts in silly sitcoms like Petticoat Junction and the Beverly Hillbillies. During this period, Sharon embarks on a relationship with Jay Sebring, hairstylist to the stars.
She meets Jay Sebring, and they start this hot and heavy romance together.
Sharon signs on to star in a film called The Fearless Vampire Killers, to be shot in London and directed by none other than Roman Polanski.
It's during the shooting of Vampire Killers when Sharon Tate and Roman Polanski officially become a couple. But despite that, Jay Sebring remains a very close friend in her life. Eventually, that relationship would end in the most brutal way on the night of the Manson murders.
Fearless Vampire Killers gets attention, and in its wake, Polanski is recruited by legendary movie producer and head of Paramount, Robert Evans. Evans wants Roman to come to America to direct the script called Rosemary's Baby.
Rosemary's Baby was about a woman who thought she was impregnated by Satan, and the people around her made her out to feel crazy because she felt this way.
To shoot the interior scenes of the film, Roman moves to Los Angeles with Sharon in tow. They settle into a rented house at 10050 Cielo Drive. It will become an address that lives in infamy.
Rosemary's Baby is a hit and he's nominated for 2 Academy Awards. Ends up winning an Oscar.
Pregnant with their first child, Roman and Sharon are the toast of heart.
I don't want to read too much into our recreating Ryan. There is something cosmically creepy about the fact that Roman Polanski makes this movie Rosemary's Baby about Satan impregnating a woman, and then you have the sort of human embodiment of Satan murdering these people so brutally. Whatever the psychic toll that would take on Roman Polanski, I don't know.
Through the forensic evidence, plus the testimony of the murderous Manson members on Cielo Drive that fateful night, we know that the end of Sharon Tate and her friends was gruesome, horrific, and unspeakable in its savage. As he ends his visit to the carriage house, Stephen Parent, the caretaker's acquaintance in the wrong place at the wrong time, is the first to die.
Stephen Parent tries to get out of there, but before he can leave, Tex Watson shoots him 4 times. And there's the beginning of Helter Skelter.
The sociopathic gang leave Parent dead and head up the driveway, gaining entry to the house through an open window. The killers force everyone into the living room, where Wojciech Frykowski has been dozing on the couch. Ropes are strung over the rafters as missiles. Jay Sebring is the first to die after he loudly protests that they're hurting Sharon. The stamp repeatedly somehow break away from the melee in the living room and make it up to the front door. Their killers pursue and finish them off outside.
As Abigail Folger's laying on the ground, being stabbed, she says, "I give up. I'm already dead." And they just keep stabbing.
Meanwhile, back in the room, Susan Atkins, known in the Manson family as Sexy Sadie, shows no remorse.
Sharon Tate pleads for her life. Atkins testifies later to a grand jury that her final words to Sharon before stabbing her to death were, "Woman, I have no mercy for you." 5 people are dead on the property of 10050 Cielo Drive as the murderers finally retreat into the Los Angeles night.
The idea that this pregnant woman and her unborn child were murdered in Hollywood, and the way the bodies are found, on one level, that's just a level of brutality that people couldn't understand. I mean, people just couldn't process what had actually happened, but it was huge news.
Roman Polanski, in London as his wife Fran's and unborn child are butchered, has no idea yet how deeply he will continue to suffer at the hands of murder and loss. And his living nightmare continues. When he arrives in Los Angeles, he is considered a prime suspect in the killing. And will examine my time with Charles Manson and the day he threatened my own.
Introducing the only national USDA certified organic hard seltzer. New spicy pineapple Michelob Ultra organic seltzer. Don't fall for anything else. As real as it tastes. National University offers 100% online degree programs with flexible 4-week classes, so you can earn your degree on your schedule. Scholarships available. Apply today at nu.edu. These fudge brownie M&Ms are really fudgy. Yes, they are.
To put a fudge brownie center in an M&M's is
Genius. I know.
I was going to say hard. Why won't you go?
Fudge brownie M&Ms.
Sarah, did you know Geico can save you hundreds on car insurance and a whole lot more? So what are you waiting for? Captain Ahab to help you find a parking spot?
Fire, she blows! Loading zone starts. Full hard to start! Seriously? Because it... Follow him! Steady. Go! Thunder racing to the northern lot where there be parking spaces as big as whales!
Geico. See all the ways you can save.
New year, new choices. Choose Smile. New year, new Smile. That costs up to 60% less than braces. Go from this to this. Start your New Year Smile for free at SmileDirectClub.com.
Noom is made for the real world.
I'm a third generation candy maker.
It's so simple, and I don't have to deprive myself.
I taste candy every day for a living. And if I can lose weight on Noom, so can you. Visit Noom.com and change your life for good.
If your credit card debt is out of control, if you're in over your head in monthly payments, there's a secret the credit card companies don't want you to know. If you have more than $10,000 in credit card debt, you have the right to let us settle that debt for a fraction of what you owe. That's bad news for the credit card companies, but it's great news for you. We're Credit Associates, and we're offering you free information on how to completely resolve your credit card debt with a monthly payment you can afford. See how much you can save? Call now. 1-800-977-8429. Don't declare bankruptcy. Don't consolidate. Give us 10 minutes and we can save you thousands. After all, we depend on your success and offer a guarantee so there's no risk to call. Credit Associates. Live better, debt free. Find out how we do this by calling now. For the secret the credit card companies don't want you to know, call Credit Associates now and see how much money you can save for free. Call 1-800-977-8429.
The moment you walk in the office and people are wearing the same gear, you feel a sense of connectedness and belonging right away. Our shirts from Custom Make help bring us together. Custom Make has hundreds of products to help you look and feel like a team. Get started today at CustomMake.com.
New Kellogg's Homestyle Rice Krispies Treats. Have more fluffy marshmallow, more delicious Rice Krispies, more to love in every bite. New Kellogg's Homestyle Rice Krispies Treats. A little love when it's needed.
Have you tried the 4-in-1 power of Persil Oxy Discs? They remove tough stains, deliver fine repair, freshness, and a deep clean. Try Persil Oxy Discs. What a great movie you could watch at home. Reels recommend. It's the music. The best friends return to search the future for the ultimate rock. Watch the listeners face the music on demand. And this weekend on Wheel,
Charles Manson came into this world just over a year after Roman Polanski was born. They were the same generation, yet existed worlds apart. If not for a simple twist of fate, perhaps their lives would never have intersected, but destiny had a different plan. Charles Manson had a background familiar to those who study the seeds of criminal behavior. He was never alone. He never knew his father. His mother was busted. He was often passed around amongst their aunt and grandma in his native Ohio and nearby Kentucky. When he is just 5 years old, Manson's mother is convicted of robbing a gas station. She goes to prison for 5 years. Charles went to live with an aunt in West Virginia.
Charles Manson was somebody that nobody wanted. And then he started ending up in the system.
Charles grows up inside the tough walls of reform schools from Indiana to Illinois, escaping frequently.
So in these reform schools, they call them unintelligent, antisocial, and we know that it ends up a lot different than that.
Charles Manson begins an endless cycle of crimes and incarceration. Felonies like theft, check forging, grand theft, and endless others.
Being in prison, manipulation is survival. So to be able to manipulate people, get them to do what you want is an art. And I'm sure that he perfected that art.
During his brief periods outside prison, he manages to marry and divorce twice, fathering 2 sons along the way. By March of 1967, Charles Manson is 32 years old. He has spent more than half his life behind bars. He begs to stay, telling authorities that he could not survive outside the walls of an institution. No one listens, and he hits the streets in March of 1967. Direction. Manson knows one place where everyone in America is headed: San Francisco. He is just in time for the summer of love.
When you want to make a living, when you want to hustle, you go to where everybody is. And in 1967, everything was leading young people to San Francisco.
Loosely pursuing a music career, Manson spends his days hustling on the streets of the Haight-Ashbury neighborhood. Swiftly, he begins to meet the women who will form the basis of his family, who would eventually enable his gruesome homicide.
California draws a lot of runaways. I know that those cults do a lot of recruitment, looking for those wayward people, looking for a place to sleep, someone to hang out with, maybe even just a meal.
Very brutal. Susan Sexy Sadie and Lynette Squeaky Frog form the foundation. All broken souls, they are in their own way susceptible to Manson's adventures. His drug-fueled wisdom and philosophy. It was part Scientology, part Buddhist, and part plain practice.
So now he's got his women, and now he needs some guys. And being in jail, he kind of knew the type of guys to pick. Ones that would just follow him. He knew exactly how to pick those guys out.
He got that in disciples like Charles Tex Watson, Bobby Beausoleil, and Steve Clem, all of whom eventually killed him.
So the crew finds themselves in LA because Charles Manson wants to become a musician. So because he's so good at navigating situations and places and people, he ends up becoming close with Dennis Wilson of the Beach Boys. And he gets the whole crew to move into Dennis Wilson's house. And I think Dennis finally wakes up one day and says, "Why are all these people in my house?" and kicks them all out. But in this time, Charles even writes a song that ends up on a Beach Boys album, but Dennis stole it from Charles Manson and never gives him any credit. And we all know Charles Manson is not going to like that very much.
By 1968, this ragtag gang of ne'er-do-wells finds refuge at an old movie ranch, formerly used as a TV set in shows like Bananas. It is owned by a frail, legally blind old man named George Funk. The Manson family had murdered before and after the brutal Tate killing. They would murder again the very next night. Rosemary and Lino LaBianca, business people in the grocery industry, were slain in their homes on August 9, 1969. Charles Manson himself tied them up before sending his insane posse in to finish them all. By the next day, Los Angeles is in a state of shock and panic. Citizens sweep down on the city's gun shops. But therefore, the police
authorities have few leads. They fail at first to see the connection between the two murderers and the killing of Manson's first victim, a friendly drug dealer named Gary Kidman, weeks before.
How was the body discovered? Would you tell me that? He was found in their living room, and he was lying on his back with multiple stab wounds.
Although it seems elementary now, history is clear. The LAPD had trouble connecting the dots on these murder sprees.
Actually, the homicides are not connected. I think the public and the media picked up the fact that they were similar in nature, possibly because of the blood and the inscriptions. But this is rather a common type of saying in homicide. We've had many cases before where the suspect is written in blood or lipstick or various things of that nature.
In general, the LAPD as a department is going to be under a lot of pressure. You're going to have the media hounding the LAPD, a psycho killer on the loose. And what's the LAPD doing to address the public safety?
The pressure is on the LAPD to figure out who committed these gruesome murders. And it's certain no one else will fit. When we return, my time with perhaps the most notorious criminal in American history.
They're one of the greatest resurrection stories since Woman Chief.
They said one looking at a band who really don't like each other and are financially unsolvent. And I said,
Sunday, only on Reels. Your sweat is your body's natural way of cooling itself down. And condensation is a beer's natural way of saying, drink me.
Teddy loves tug of war. In his lifetime, he'll pull hundreds of tons. That's why he needs a tailored recipe from Iams to help him stay fit. Iams, who I am.
Hey, Miles. New year, new choices. Choose faster. More Miles. Choose healthier. Choose Smile. New year, new Smile. It costs up to 60% less than braces. Go from this to this. And start seeing results in as little as 60 days. Start your New Year Smile for free at smileprep.com.
National University offers 100% online degree programs with flexible 4-week classes, so you can earn your degree on your schedule. Scholarships available. Apply today at nu.edu.
My Audible library is just like scroll. It's a lot.
I downloaded Audible and really, really enjoyed it.
And it kind of just became lifestyle after that.
Audible allows me to find a space for myself.
You just get way more than you pay for. One of those rare things in life. Oh, the Audible Plus catalog is awesome.
It's like having a streaming service, but just for audio content.
There's Audible Originals, there's podcasts. I've used some of the meditations. It helps me relax.
Mythology, anthropology, a lot of the ologies.
Audible recommended the right audiobooks at the right time.
They pretty much have whatever you like.
It's really enriched my life in so many ways. I can put on an audiobook or a podcast and be transported somewhere that is impossible to go. That is why I love Audible. To start your free 30-day trial, just text LISTEN28 to 500-500. We miss being together, but you can still feel a strong sense of community with custom gear from Custom Ink. We've developed new tools to make it easy for you. Custom Ink has hundreds of products, including masks to help you stay connected. Upload your logo or start your design today at customink.com. One in 2 kids is underhydrated. If your child doesn't see themselves at times, they may not be hydrated enough. Chance-powered Creative Fruits gives kids the hydration they need with the fruit flavors they love and 1 gram of sugar. Find Creative Fruits in the kids' juice aisle. Why Walgreens? With copays as low as $0, Walgreens makes supporting your Medicare prescriptions no sweat.
Upon hearing the news of this unspeakable tragedy in his rented home in the Hollywood Hills, Roman immediately returns to Los Angeles.
So Roman Polanski gets back home, and it's not even trying to grieve for my wife, my unborn child, my friends. It was, Roman, you're suspect number one.
Roman was, of course, 5,000 miles from the scene of the crime, but he was a known womanizer. Sharon knew about his peccadillos and chose to overlook them. And his Hollywood lifestyle meant that drugs were always present. Roman is made by the LAPD to take a lie detector test to clear himself of any wrongdoing. He passes.
You know, this is the pre-tabloid era, but it almost ushers in the tabloid era. And Roman and Sharon Tate, in some ways, they're no different than Brad and Angelina, except they hadn't had enough time.
Rumors and falsehoods fly into the pages of supermarket tabloids. Even the Wanted Time magazine gets into the act, releasing a story that had at least 9 factual errors about the murders and the condition of the bodies. As the Los Angeles police struggle to find the killers in the weeks after, both Roman and his father, Colonel Paul Tate, flew off the deep end into paranoia and obsession.
Roman Polanski kind of lost it. A little bit. You mean 2 months? Who wouldn't?
He went nuts. Who did this? Was it somebody I knew? So he starts breaking into his friends' houses, swabbing for blood to see if Sharon's blood is in their car. Not only that, Sharon's father, Paul Tate, he was a colonel in the army and decided to grow his hair out hippie-like and go on the Sunset Strip. You know, he was trying to get information on who killed Sharon.
By October of 1969, the Manson family is living at the Parker Ranch at the edge of Death Valley. On October 10th, sheriff's deputies raid the ranch and arrest 24 suspects, including Manson, on charges ranging from arson to grand theft 1. Susan Atkins, or Sexy Sadie, is one of the members caught in the drag.
So Sadie's in jail at this point. So she starts rattling off and kind of boasting that Sharon Tate, I killed her. So her cellmate rats her out, and from that point, everything just starts to unravel.
It is the break in the case. Police need. It comes at about the same time that a young boy discovers a broken, rusted gun in the backyard bushes of his home. It turns out to be the gun that Tex Watson used to shoot Stephen Perrott on the way to Roman and Sharon's house. Manson, Atkins, Watson, Patricia Krenwinkel, and Leslie Van Houten are all charged with the murders of Sharon Tate for unborn child, Wojtek Frykowski, Abigail Folger, Jay Sebring, and Stephen Perrott. As Charles Manson and his gang await trial, Roman Polanski packs his belongings, gives away his car to a friend, and leaves for Paris with no intention of ever coming back to the USA.
The Charles Manson murders were on a simple level, just brutal and sad and painful. On another level, the Manson murders became almost a cottage industry. You had books and films. It was thrust in the center of popular culture as people tried to interpret and understand what had actually happened.
What Richard was at was I went to see the Sharon Tate murder trial plus all the other Hollywood sites.
When it opens on July 24th, 1970, Charles Manson's is the first trial in the modern age to feel like a 3-ring circus. The Manson family members who are not charged with the crime hold daily vigils on the steps of the courthouse in support of their man, Gaurd. Manson carves an X into his heart to indicate his oppression by the establishment. The girls follow suit, mutilating their bodies in Manson's name.
Well, this was a recognition of how sculptor that County gave.
Charles Manson is prosecuted by the Los Angeles District Attorney Vincent Bugliosi. He'll become even more famous a few years later for writing what many consider to be the definitive book of the Manson murder. Bugliosi and his team claim that the motivation
eventually played out would lead to Manson being declared the leader of those left behind. Manson and Hamill, Atkins and Krenwinkel are all convicted of murder and sentenced to death in the gas chamber. In a separate trial, so too is Tex Watson. In 1972, when the state of California outlaws the death penalty, the Manson family sentences are all commuted to life in prison. Roman Polanski never makes a public comment on the changing of the sentences. In Paris, Roman works to pick up the pieces of his broken life, as was his father's personality also. Roman suffers from an ingrained pessimism. His father once said, "Every joyous experience has its price." Losing his mother at a young age, nearly being murdered by a street dog, and having his wife and unborn child brutally ripped away from him, leaves Roman Polanski with a fatalistic worldview. Though the success of Rosemary's Baby is a springboard to an even more successful career in Hollywood, it is in stark contrast to the sadness he personally feels. Years later, Roman would reflect that his brief time with Sharon was the happiest in his life. Charles Manson stole all that happiness away from Polanski. In 1988, 19 years after the brutal crimes, I had a chance to spend the day with Charles Manson. It came with few restrictions. Manson and I were face to face, without the shield of glass, with the cover of an intercom between us.
I've been in jail since 1943. 9 years old. You weren't raised up. Please. I got my own way. You know, well, I may be bad. Basically violent and bad. Yeah. I'm only as violent as I have to be. If I don't have to be violent, I'm not. But I was raised up where if you didn't fight, you got to do. I'm not saying that I am all these things that you think I am, but wouldn't that be more fearful than letting me try to be a nice guy? Would you want to make me into those things? Would you want me to? Do you need someone like that in your world? You know what I think? I think that you are an evil person. Right, I'm evil. I'm terrible. You are. Oh, shit, I'm awful. I'm awful. He left a trail of dead bodies. The trail of dead bodies. Okay. Really? Okay. You're a damn evil person and you're a murderer. Come on, speak. No, I mean, I get pissed off, man. I can play, but I get pissed off. Yeah. Get it, go. So going into San Quentin to meet Charles Manson, my main goal, aside from making sure that the interview happened, was not to be out macho by Charles Manson. Charles Manson at that time had this malevolent charisma, like Hitler. Then I was 45 years old, a street fighting man. You know, I was a swashbuckler. I was the toughest guy on the block. And I'd be damned if I was going to let this punk ass murderer scare me. I don't break law. I make law. I'm the lawmaker. I'm the one that laid the track down. So he said to me, Charlie said to me, he said, if I don't like how this interview turns out, I'm going to send your head to your wife on a plate. I said to him, Charlie, if anything happens to me, the Spanish guys in here are going to burn you again. The way San Quentin was divided by races, I knew that I could count on the Latinos. I knew that, even though I always think this, if I was ever in jail, I would be a great jailhouse lawyer and I could rally people. I lived that fantasy in my mind. But it was a fascinating experience, obviously. The mystery to me is why Charlie Manson agreed to do an interview with me, of all people. I can only think that he figured that he wanted the most macho person on the block to take down. He just wanted a challenge. There you go. Roman Polanski left the USA under a cloud of scandal more than 40 years ago, pleading what he believed would be an overly punitive sentence for the crime he had pled guilty to, unlawful sexual intercourse with a minor. He has never returned to the United States of America. That period of his life has been the stuff of books and documentaries, and of course
fascination over the Manson murders in journalism, TV, and film never wanes. What's not so well known is Polanski's lightning-fast, very tragic childhood, losing his mother to the gas chamber and dodging the Nazis as his father suffered in concentration camps. And some forget the suffering he endured in the wake of losing Sharon Tate and their unborn child. It may be too early to tell how history will remember Roman Polanski, but one thing is forever part of his story: murder in the family. I'm Earl Rivera.
The following is a paid presentation for Pio, created by Shalene Johnson. She's a New York Times best-selling author, a top-ranking podcaster, lifestyle entrepreneur with millions of online followers, and has sold millions of best-selling fitness DVDs. And today, she's got a special free offer especially for you.
Hey, is all the change you're experiencing starting to weigh you down? Like maybe you're worried about finances, your routine has changed, there's so much pressure on everyone right now. And all that stress makes us gain weight. And to lose the weight, you gotta exercise. But the problem is, most home equipment is so expensive. And I'm sorry, no offense, but a lot of these home workouts are often completely unrealistic. Unless you're like a 19-year-old fitness model. Bless their hearts. But I have a solution for you, and if you keep watching, I'm gonna give you hookups so you can try it for free. I've created a workout that's all low impact. It is super fun. You burn tons of calories. You do it at home, and you can finally lose the weight the right way.
Introducing Pio, the best of Pilates and the best of yoga fused together to create a low-impact body sculpting and weight loss miracle that you can do right at home. And now, with Beachbody On Demand, you can stream the entire 60-day Pio program right to your TV, computer, tablet, or smartphone, so you can turn any room in your house into a perfect place to get lean and healthy.
I've never tried yoga. I've never done Pilates. I started slow. I kept at it. It changed my body. Thanks to Pio, I've lost 43 pounds. I am in skinny jeans at age 64. The minute I tried Pio, I loved it. I've lost 53 pounds and I feel awesome. Pio has changed my life. Here's how I created this super effective workout. I knew we needed a fat-burning workout that was gentle on your body. So I took the best moves from Pilates and the best moves from yoga, and I fused those things with low-impact cardio so that you get the long, lean muscles and the nice, strong core, but you're also getting a fat-burning workout at the same time. And then I made sure it was actually doable, because hello, have you seen some of the stuff like on Instagram and YouTube, and who could even do that? It is so rewarding seeing women work out at home, having this much fun and getting results like these. The fact that your feet stay on the floor, you're not jumping around, you're not jarring your body in any way. I love the fact that I can work out at home at my own pace and use my own body weight in my own living room. With Pio, I have become a better me, and I'm better at lifting than I've ever been.
Shalene Johnson has revolutionized the fitness industry by turning her lifelong love for health and fitness into a phenomenal success story. She's a New York Times best-selling author, a top-ranking podcaster, lifestyle entrepreneur with millions of online followers, and has sold millions of best-selling fitness DVDs.
If there's one thing I've learned after 30 years of being a fitness professional, it's that you don't have to pound or punish your body to have an amazing body. Can we just pretend that my bed is made? So embarrassed. That's why Pio is my favorite workout I've ever created. The workouts are shorter, you don't have to jump around, there's no equipment, and you can do it in the comfort and privacy of your own home. Listen, going to the gym can be super inconvenient, especially right now. But you don't have to worry about any of that when you decide to get in shape at home with Pio. And when you do go out, people are going to notice results like these.
I never thought that that was ever going to be a thing, or this, or this. I lost 26 pounds and 20 inches. This program gives you results.
Home workouts are my thing. I don't have to travel to the gym. I don't have to get a sitter for my kids. I never thought that I would have been able to lose the weight that I did. With Pio, I've lost 15 pounds and I feel amazing. Let me explain why Pio is so different. Yes, it's a fusion of Pilates and yoga, but it's so much more than that. It's athletic moves, it feels sexy, it's rhythmic, it's cardio, you build strength, but it's all low impact. Like you get a killer workout, but it's the way we used to beat up our bodies doing high impact. Like, girl, those days are over. But to get the kind of results you want in the past, you would have had to have done 45 minutes of cardio, then another 45 minutes of strength training, and then you would have had to find extra time to stretch. PiYo delivers all of those components in one workout.
The awesome thing about PiYo is it works your entire body, your upper body, it works your abs, your buns, your thighs, it works everything. It was very intriguing to know that I could do it at home, even with my kids, when they were napping, whenever I could find time. It was just easy. I lost 24 pounds, and I've never felt better.
Okay, two major pet peeves. Number one, super expensive fitness equipment that you just end up throwing your laundry on top of it anyways. And number two, workouts that destroy your knees. PiYo is not like that. I put a modifier next to me every single workout. Hello, I'm 51 years old, and I'm going to make sure that you are successful no matter what level you're starting at. Anyone, any age can do PiYo.
The modifier just made it easier to be able to stick with the workouts. Being overweight, I couldn't turn different directions or make different moves, but having a modifier definitely made things easier. I lost 44 pounds, I dropped 4 pant sizes, and I feel fantastic.
All right, girlfriend, let's talk. You know you need more than just a workout right now. You need like a complete plan, am I right? Where everything is spelled out. No guessing. That's why I'm giving you more than just a workout. I'm going to give you a complete, no-brainer plan. We don't even have to think about it. The meal plans, everything's spelled out. But let's just say cooking isn't exactly my strong suit. Which is why I made my food plan so simple. The recipes are quick, simple, and delicious. You'll know what to eat when and truly enjoy your food. What's the meal?
It's absolutely not a diet. I just learned how to make healthy swaps and really turn it into a lifestyle change. I lost 14 pounds and I am in the best shape of my life. I would say around 270 pounds was probably the heaviest I've ever weighed myself at. Being a mom overweight is a struggle. You need a lot of energy, and I just didn't have that. So I quickly realized that my weight was getting too out of control, that I wouldn't be able to take care of my children. It was overwhelming at first trying to figure out what am I going to do for exercise. So I had to find something that was what I could do because I knew it's something I had to stick with. When I got PiYo, I was so excited to see that it was more than just a program full of workouts. It had so much more. It had a meal plan, a nutrition guide, and it came with a detailed workout guide that told you what workouts that you would do every single day. So after the first round of PiYo, I lost 25 pounds and kept going to lose a total of 81 pounds and have a body that I never imagined that I would have. For someone just starting out who's overwhelmed with what to do, where to start, PiYo is the perfect program. I love PiYo, and it will always be a part of my life.
Yeah, Kristen's story is amazing, but you could do that, and you don't even have to wait. I can give you access to PiYo right now for free, immediately. So grab your phone. Here's what we're going to do. Open up your text messages, and you see that word below? You're going to text that word to this number, 30 30 30. And I know you're thinking, Shalene, that's not enough numbers. Yes, it is. Trust me. You'll see. Just text that word below to 30 30 30, and I'm going to send you a link that's going to give you access to everything I've talked about. All the PiYo workouts, the meal plan, your 60-day calendar, and everything you need to get amazing results. But it is a limited time offer. So, girl, I said it was free. What are you waiting for? And you don't have to worry about losing, breaking, or scratching your DVDs, because now you can stream all of my workouts. That's the beauty of Beachbody On Demand. That means PiYo goes where you go. Did I mention it's free? Send me a text. I'm waiting. Still waiting.
Introducing PiYo from celebrity trainer and fitness expert Shalene Johnson.
I'm taking the best of Pilates with the best of yoga and then fuse that with low-impact cardio sequences so you get a mega fat-burning, calorie-burning workout at the same time. And because there's a different workout for every day of the week, you'll never get bored. My lower body workout will give you the sleekest legs ever. My upper body workout will give you arms you'll be proud to show off. The dynamic flow and sculpt will give you definition from head to toe. Gain balance and core strength in a line. In my strength workout, you'll develop muscle to burn off the fat, and you won't believe how many calories you'll burn in my low-impact sweat and drench workouts. And it's actually doable, like even if you're not flexible.
Shalene keeps PiYo simple. There's no equipment needed, just your own body weight, and there's a modifier for every move
so you can always follow along and start seeing results.
The modifier just made it easier to be able to stick with the workouts. I lost 44 pounds and I feel like a brand new person. I can seriously roll out of bed in the morning. Shoes are optional. Like, I don't have to get any equipment out and I can just press play and start my workout. With Kyle, I lost 41 pounds and I feel incredible.
Just follow the 60-day workout calendar so you can know exactly which workout to do each day. Then follow Shalene's Get Lean Eating Plan that outlines exactly what to eat for your body type. Beachbody On Demand even has hundreds of recipes and cooking videos to make following the meal plan right at home foolproof. But wait, text the code below to 303030 during this special offer, and Shalene will not only send you a free membership to Beachbody On Demand so you can enjoy Kyle right at home, you also get unlimited access to over $8,000 worth of Beachbody's other best-selling and proven fitness programs for free. Programs like 21 Day Fix, 3-week yoga